Baseball in the Boroughs is brought to you by Verizon. With my plan, get exactly what you want and only pay for what you need. The Yankees start a new series down in the 305, so let's get caught up with all things surrounding this team with New York Post Yankees beat writer Greg Joyce. There he is. Greg, I don't want to start off on a bad note, so I guess we'll talk confidence first, see where this team's head's at. They haven't had a winning month since May, and there is improvement on the offense, but the pitching rotation continues to struggle. Aaron Boone and the squad still have confidence that they can go on a run this season, so are they just talking that talk, or do you think they really can get hot?
I think it's still possible. I mean, it's just the results lately haven't inspired much confidence, at least from the outside. I think from the inside, you probably have to have that confidence. These are guys, a lot of guys that have had success in the past. It's just that, collectively this year, they just haven't been able to put it together. Of their last 11 series, they've only won one, and it was against the Royals, who are one of the worst teams in baseball. And that series is also the only time they've won 3 straight games since May. So it's been a struggle to get hot. They keep on talking about how they feel they're capable of going on one of those hot streaks. And if they do, it would bring them right back into the playoff race. But, they're still only 5 games out going into tonight, but it's just when they haven't been able to get any kind of real consistency going, it's the games are ticking away. They really needed to get on one here soon, and I feel like we've been saying that, for the last few weeks, and they just, every time they start, win a couple, then they lose a couple, and they just haven't been able to string that consistency together.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to kind of close that gap if you don't put that consistency together and you just be a flash in the pan. This team can't seem to figure out what to do with Luis Severino. His ERA is currently 8.06, and my man's looking like a liability. So what options do they have, not only with him, but with this rotation as well?
Yeah, they've been trying to figure that out, and it still is a huge question for them. Obviously, they tried an opener in front of him the other night, did not work. And so they still need Randy Vasquez is expected to get called up tonight to replace Carlos Rodon in the rotation while he's injured. So they're still going to need a starter or a bullpen game by Tuesday. And so whether that's Severino or whether that's a bullpen game, it might depend on how much they need to use the bullpen here in the next few days. But it's just getting tougher and tougher for them to keep putting Severino out there when, they're trying to, fix things in between his outings, and it just hasn't worked. He has that potential. We've seen it in the past. He just hasn't shown it a lot this year, and they're trying to get it out of him. But it's, the more and more that it goes on, they tried it the other night. Then he comes in the second inning and gives up 3 runs immediately. So I think his confidence is taking a hit. He's a very confident guy in general, but it's hard not to when results aren't there. So they keep on searching, but they also are kind of running out of bodies a little bit in terms of the rotation. So they need, one way or another, they're going to need somebody to start or get the bulk innings of that Tuesday game. So, that's one of the big questions they got to answer here in the next few days.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, especially since they lost Domingo Germán for the rest of the season while he goes through what he goes through. And let's talk big picture here. The Yankees are 102-98 in their last 200 games and currently sit in last place in the AL East. If this doesn't turn around, what kind of changes should we look out for in the offseason?
Yeah, that's another big question. Obviously, I think Hal Steinbrenner said a few months ago that if the Yankees didn't make the playoffs and if they were mostly healthy, he was going to have to ask some tough questions. So, it seems like it's headed that way at this point. One of the big things is just that they need to kind of revamp their lineup a little bit. They've basically had more or less, the same key guys in the lineup the last 2 years. Obviously, last year, the first half of the season, they were the best team in baseball. But really, since then, since about last July, till now, they've really hovered around 500 baseball. They've had some injuries. Obviously, losing Aaron Judge for 2 months hurt. Anthony Rizzo is out now. Now with the post-concussion syndrome, and that they believe that's what kind of affected his play over the last few months. But just overall, they have a lot of veteran guys in the lineup, but they haven't been able to get going this year. So whether it's getting more athletic, getting a little bit younger, they still haven't addressed left field, so maybe that's something that they'll do this offseason. Third base seems to be open too. So, they got some holes to fill in the lineup, and overall just kind of trend towards getting younger, more athletic. It's going to be a tough offseason in terms of trying to do that, but it's, the results over the last 2 years have kind of indicated that's a need.
Thank you for that. And before we even begin to think about offseason, they've got to handle business tonight down in Miami to start that series off. Greg Joyce, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Brandon.